Hello, everybody. All right, so today I'm just going to continue with my Vim and C series. It's a little bit late, but I still needed to do this anyway. All right, so we had a few chapters on C. So I'm just going to continue from where we stopped. I think this will be chapter 10, I guess. Yeah, so I'd like to talk about what do you call this? Oh, sorry. I'd like to talk about let me close this quickly. So I'd like to go a little bit into details about variable scopes in C and also look at function parameters. So here is for reference, here's the website where I'll be just learning this thing or talking about these things from. So let's quickly do the basic thing. So create our, so we are using Vim, so to create a new file in Vim, we type Vim followed by the file name. So I'll put index.c, and then we need our header file. So we go into insert mode by pressing I, and then we do include, right? Include, I've forgotten this thing again. I think it's include stdio.h, right? Which is our header file. And then we can begin writing the function. So we need an entry function, and we need also, so our entry function or main function, if you will, is the root function where our entire code will run from. So it's the entry point to our program. So start with int main, and then we say here, you can, I mean, it's not compulsory that you call it int. So you can even do void. I think void also works, and you pass it an integer variable or void or whatever you want, but for now we'll just keep it empty. And then we go on the next line. Now I notice also there are some missing configuration in my Vim file, but we'll go into that in a little bit. So let's quickly write a function here. I'll say printf hello world, like this, and then add a new line. I think we do this like this. Yeah, we add in a new line, we end the code there, so we can just put this here. I'll go into, I think if you do this, I think control shift as a control, sorry, another program is opening here. I need to close this one. So when we are this line to auto indent, I think it's shift, yeah. Oh no, not that. Undo that. Let's go to this line here, move to this place. I used to do this before, but I forgot. I think it's shift or shift control. Okay, that's not what it is. So I've forgotten how it's done. So auto indentation, that light just came up. I don't know how. Was it okay? I've forgotten this. This is embarrassing, but what can I do? Windows key. Was it Windows key? I think it's shift. No, not that. So let's undo that by pressing U. Go down the line and then to the, I think, fourth. Yeah. So we go to shift. Nope, that doesn't work either. This is so bad. I actually knew how to do this, but anyways, that's not the point. Let's just quickly, make sure that this program works. We can just go back here and then exit. Let's write this to memory, and then we can now compile it. I mean, you can open a terminal. I think that is always better. So I think vet term, like this. Yeah, so we have a terminal opened, so we can do cc index.c. Our compilation is successful. If you go through the directory of this folder, actually I'm in the wrong place, but you can see this a.out, right? This is our compiled version. Otherwise you need to type gcc and then all the compilation command. I think cc is easier to type, so we can just say cc index.c, and then our compilation is successful. Actually, I need to move the files into this folder, so let's just do that. I think we do mv index.c to this folder. I think chapter 10, is that chapter 10 here? Chapter 10. Okay, and we do ls again, ls like this. So the index file has been moved. We have to move our compiled file too. So say mv index, a out to chapter 10 again, and then we cd into chapter 10, and now we are in the right place. So let's clear this. I think that's good. So now we can run this file like this, a out, and then you can see hello world is printed in the terminal. I still got this, so let's keep going. All right, so what we want to do is understand variables, the scope of variables in C, right? So variable scope is basically where your variable can be accessed in your program, the position where it is. So you hear something called function scope, block scope and global scope. Global scope means the variable can be accessed from anywhere, and function scope basically, or block scope if you will, basically means the variable is scoped to the function, right, or the block where it is. And by block I mean you can have if else or conditional blocks, while loops, and so on. So those are also blocks, and variable defined in those blocks cannot be accessed outside of them. So let's take a look at an example. So I'll just move to this side, right, and quickly we will go to the second line. Okay, we are already here, so let's move up here. Let's delete this line here and go into insert mode. Here. Okay, so let's come here, move up, and then okay. So now let's create a variable. I'll call this, let's create an integer called x. X is going to be equal to 5, and then we can say, let's just print f, right? Print f. So we need what's this called again? There's a name for this. I think it's the identifier. So to identify the kind of variable you want to print. So in this case, if I put this d here, I need to pass in an integer, right? In this case, s, meaning I want to print this integer s, because I can't print it directly from the terminal. So again, we can move back to this side, right, and maybe we'll just add in some values here to say something really nice about this variable. So I'll just come here and say insert, right, and say this variable is block function scope. Let's just put function scoped, right, and then the value is this. So and let's always print a new line, so we can just quickly move to this side and then append new line like this. Okay, and then move to this side, right, go back to this place. So here we can just compile the code and see how it runs. So we need to always compile the code after writing a new or making changes to our file. So again, cc index.c, compilation was successful, so we can simply run it like this, and hello world is still printing, so there is something. Oh, I see. After moving the folder, the files into a different folder, we did not exit Vim, so it's still remembering the old changes. So now let's just go back to this side, and what I would do is I will come down here, go into visual mode, I think, and then just move the cursor up and just copy this. I think you can do cc. Oh, okay, undo that. All right, so what do we do here? Okay, I've forgotten a lot of these things, so let's just quickly go back again. I will just go back to doing this. So I need to quit this window altogether, right? So here I just go quit, right? So now, because I'm still in chapter 10, so let's just say vim index.c, and then you can see the hello world message was still there, so which is not what we want. And we can always open our vertical terminal. I think vertical term. All right, so you can do it that way, or you can just say vsplit. I think vsplit. Yeah, so let's go to this side. I think so. To move around the window, you just press control, so control W and L. That's going to move it to the left. Control W and H will move it to the right. Or something is going on, so it's still in set mode. So let's leave here and come back to this side. Okay, I don't know what's going on, but this does not seem to be working. So what do we do in this case? Honestly, I should have stopped doing this thing. I just really forgot a lot of it. So I've forgotten. Let's try. Oh, Vim is such a headache. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. So I have a terminal opened, but I am not able to exit the terminal for some reason, and the command is still showing there. So what do I do? Yeah, Control Q, escape. Nothing is working. I think this. Honestly, I don't know what's going on. You know what? I'll just close this, right, and just open a new duplicate tab and cd into my projects, and I think it's YouTube, right, and then cd into chapter 10, right, and then vim index.c. Okay, so now I think it's vertical term like this. Okay, right, this is working now. Okay, cool. So now we can come here, delete this line. It's cleared, and we can just do this. So insert, go into insert mode. I'm still defaulting to the normal way of typing, but that's also fine. You know, it happens from time to time. So let's just quickly write a so print. Okay, we'll create a variable here called int x is equal to 5, right? Then we can do printf the variable. This variable, sorry, is function scoped or block scoped. But let's put it that way first. And then you can just do %d to indicate that you are trying to print a number or an integer there. And then you pass in the integer value, which is x. So now let's end this line here and exit. So go to here, write this file, then let's move to this side. Okay, here, so I can say cc index.c compilation successful, and then we can do a out. Okay, so this worked. So this variable is function scoped. Now what was I going to do? So I wanted to explain the scope of function, so of a variable. So let's move back here. Now this variable here cannot be accessed anywhere else. This integer 5 here cannot be accessed anywhere else, because it only belongs to this local. So this is a local scope. I call this function scope, but the general name for it is local scope because it's local to this function. It's only accessible within this function. So now if I try to create another function here,